how to believe in ourselves. We all want to know how to be our own encourager, cheerleader, best friend, ass kicker, knowing that we can when we believe that we can't. We do get in our own ways. We are inside our own experience where we are biased to ourselves. And we see it so clearly in others. I'm sure that you can identify with this. You have a friend or a child who's telling you a story and they're just so down on themselves and beating themselves up. And you're just like, I wish you saw yourself how I saw you. You're so capable. You will get through this. This is not the end. You are not a terrible person. You've got this. So we can give this encouragement to others and we can see it so clearly. Have you ever gotten into almost an argument with someone where you are fighting for their vision and for their goal, and they're arguing against it? It's really funny when we pull back and think about it, but it is the human condition. We just are biased to ourselves. So my intention for you, if you're here with me, is for you to leave this talk inspired to believe in yourself, even if it's 1% more. That is my intention for you, to walk away from here knowing that you are not a terrible person. You are not a loser. You are not broken because you have failed at this thing that you're trying miserably to do, or you just believe that you can't. When I first learned about shifting thoughts, I will go back to 2007, the movie The Secret. Who knows The Secret? Rhonda Byrne. When that movie came out, I saw her being interviewed on Oprah and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to buy the DVD at the time. I have to see this. It's now on Netflix. The Secret was this movie that talked about how our thoughts can create things. My main takeaway, because at the time, I did not know anything about changing thoughts. I just thought, as you may think, that our thoughts are on default, that our thoughts are just happening to us and they're absolute truth. And there's something wrong with me because my thoughts are so negative and persistent and ruminating. This taught you that we naturally think that way. And instead of thinking about what we don't want, we need to think about what we do want. This was mind-blowing for me. Well, I took action immediately back in 2007. And for about a good 2 weeks, I was on this positive thought high. I was thinking differently about my kids. I was flipping the thoughts. Every time I would think something bad, I would just say, what do I want? And flip it. And I was on a roll until I wasn't. I got triggered and my negative thought spin spiraled all the way back negative, and my brain did what most brains do, made meaning and made a decision. You're a failure. You can't do this. There's something wrong with you. And just confirmed that negative thought loop that I have had at my core. When I learned more about how to shift thoughts, I realized that positive thinking is actually the smallest piece of changing out of negative thoughts, negative thinking patterns, and going from believing you can't to I can. It's like the smallest piece of that puzzle. And what is monumentally life-changing is how you are relating to your negative thinking, how you're approaching it, coming to it, and what you're making it mean about you. In the spirit of this talk, what I do when I have these talks and these lives is I research and I look and see what my gurus and my mentors are saying about the topics. And I really love it because I just learn it and integrate it so much more strongly. Well, I decided to do a little experiment. Said, okay, what do I not believe about myself that I can do? And it just came up front and center. I can't not snooze in the morning. I can't. I'm 46. I have snoozed my whole life. I don't ever remember not snoozing. And we're not talking 1 or 2 times. We're talking 3 to 6 more times. We're talking a full hour. I have never been able to not snooze. And it's the one thing that I believe I really can't do. So I decided, all week long to go after the goal of I believe I can not hit snooze and get up in the morning when I say I'm going to get up. That was my little experiment during the week with the content that I was learning. I'm going to talk through a 6-step process to believing in yourself, to believing that you can when you're telling yourself a story that you can't. So the number one step is acceptance, accepting yourself right where you're at. You, yes, you on the couch depressed, you stuck in inaction, you telling yourself a story that you're a loser, that you're broken, that there's something wrong with you, because the thing that is in the shadows, that's lurking underneath, I don't believe in myself, I don't believe I can, is a monumental amount of shame. You are carrying shame for not believing in yourself, for believing that there's something wrong with you because you can't. And the first step is full-on acceptance for where you're at, shedding that shame, and just knowing you are a human being. You are a human being with a human brain, which is wired for survival. And what does that mean? It means that we are all, every one of us, the people you admire and aspire to be like, and the people you don't, we're walking around with a negativity bias in our brain. What that looks like is science has proven we have 70,000 thoughts a day just running. 50,000 of them are negative. And some of you are thinking even more negatively based on what has happened to you. Trauma, abuse, neglect, grief, loss, all of the things. The first step in the process of believing in yourself is accepting yourself right where you are at. Just saying, I am a human. I have a human brain. It has this negativity bias. There is nothing wrong with me. And when you say that, your body might go, ugh, right? Like, ugh. And what is that? That's the shame. That's the shame that you're carrying underlying for not believing in yourself, for negative thinking, for not doing the thing that you want to do. Releasing that shame means first coming to acceptance of yourself and where you're at. So that's what I did. I came to myself and I looked at, I've never been able to not snooze. And when I dropped in, I was carrying a lot of shame for it. Believe it or not, I really was judging. And how I know and how this looks like is, what do you do to not feel your feelings? For me, it's pretend, ignore, avoid. That's what I do. Maybe you eat. Maybe you achieve. Maybe you please. Maybe you get really involved in someone else. Whatever it is you're doing to avoid your feelings, just notice it. And I realized that I was avoiding this. I realized I was carrying shame for it. So acceptance, number one. Number two, awareness, mindfulness. It's not that your mind is as negative as it is, because as humans, and to keep you safe and alive, we have been wired biologically through evolution to actually think negative. Your brain, also proven by science, does not care about positive thoughts or positive emotions like it does the negative. And that may really resonate with you. And you may be like, oh, that's why. You just tune into that one negative comment when 50 people told us they got something out of it. We're so tuned in because the brain is always scanning for unsafety. It always wants to protect you. So just know awareness and mindfulness that you're a human with a brain with a negativity bias, and that it's a conscious awareness practice to actually change your beliefs. You have to bring awareness and conscious mindfulness into it. It is work. It's not that your mind is so negative. It's the fact that it's doing it. It's going negative by default over and over and over again, and you don't even realize it. You just feel it's the truth. And if there is anything that you take away from this today, The thought that I can't, that I cannot, I never will, I don't believe, there's no way, I don't have what it takes. Those negative thoughts are not truth. They are a story. They are a story that you're telling yourself over and over and over again, and you're reinforcing it. You're grounding it in more solidly every time you repeat it. There's also a scientific thing called the confirmation bias. The brain loves to prove itself true. It's always looking for the proof. So just know that based on science, you're going to accept yourself where you're at. You're a human. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain's doing exactly what it's wired to do on default. Now you're becoming conscious and aware. And now you know, oh, it's an actual practice to shift my thoughts. And the first step is coming to the negative thoughts and recognizing them as such. Committing to doing the work to shifting your thoughts means step number 3. Disidentification. This is so important. You accept yourself for where you're at, you become aware, and now you catch the negative thought. And what this does when you disidentify from is you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. I'm having a thought. All of a sudden, you're disidentifying from it and you're tuning into another part of you. Which part of you? The part of you that's observing your thoughts. And at that point, this is so important. You're learning that you are not any one thing. The problem is not the negative thoughts. It's the fact that you're swept up in it. You're identifying as it. You're believing it's a fact. You're identifying as a loser, as someone who can't. You've actually created an identity around what your brain is telling you about yourself. So the disidentification process is so important because it's just like, oh, let me observe these thoughts without judgment. Because the judgment is making meaning of it and is the thing that's carrying the shame. So when we don't judge and we just pull back and just say, wow, listen to what my brain is telling me. Oh my gosh, would I ever say that to somebody else? Probably not. When I pulled back and I listened to what my brain was telling me, it was like, you're never going to be able to do this. You haven't been able to do this in 46 years. Just throw in the towel and let it go. And then in the morning, when I failed, because I tried this from Monday, I tried to not snooze from Monday on. When I failed, every morning I started observing. So I gave myself permission to just observe what my brain was telling me. And it was like, don't get out of bed, stay in bed. You don't have to work until later. Why do you need to be up earlier? You don't really need to be up earlier. It's cold. It's dark. You're going to be lonely. Why are you going to do that? My brain was like, go back to bed, Amy. Don't get out of bed. So what did I do? I snoozed. And then once I snoozed once, I snoozed several times. And then the same brain that was telling me to stay in bed, then what did it do later? It shamed me. It was like, look at you. Now you're rushing. You should have gotten up when you said you would. You're a loser. Like, what's wrong with you? All the judgment and all the shame came in later. So when you start disidentifying from and you start just observing your thoughts, you realize, oh, I'm not these thoughts. These thoughts are in my brain. They're running on default, but now I'm aware of them. And that's where like this like space is, where change can just start to happen. Thoughts are not facts. You may be identifying so much that you believe it's just a circumstance, like I just am this is true for me. And yes, it may be in the moment. You can claim it as your truth. It's your truth. It's not the truth. None of us know what the truth is, right? At any given moment, we are carrying a truth within us. And what is it? Observing and noting how negative it is, and just being aware that it's not serving you, even if you really do believe it, it's definitely not serving me on any level to believe this, but this is what I believe. And just knowing that, another scientific fact, thoughts can shift in an instant and completely change. So what is your truth right now is not going to be your truth in a minute, 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years. Transformation has been proven scientifically, and that is what the rewiring process is in the brain. So just because you're on this negative thought loop that I can't, does not mean that it can't change for you. So just knowing that change is possible. Number 4, in the process of going from I can't to I can and believing in yourself, make a new choice. So we've come into acceptance. We're humans. We have this negativity bias. We're carrying shame. We're aware. We're shedding the shame. I'm aware. I'm mindful. I'm observing my thoughts. They're really negative, but they're so true. Okay, well, make a new choice. What do you want to think? Even if you don't believe it right now, what do you aspire to think? And just get clear on what you want to believe about yourself. I want to believe that I can actually do this. I want to believe that I have what it takes. I want to believe that I can get out of the bed in the morning and not snooze. And then you can start collecting evidence to what have you done in the past to prove that even though this is different, you can do things that you thought you couldn't at one point. And that is a beautiful way to just set up your brain towards the new vision, the new thought of I can. I do believe I can do this. I do have what it takes, but I don't fully believe it. All right, that's normal. But at least you know what the thought is that you aspire to own. At least you got it out. You have something to work towards. So now we play. Now we play and we say, I do have what it takes. I do believe in myself. Absolutely no way I'm a loser. I can't. What can we come up with that is true, that is not negative and defeating and working in the opposite direction, that is actually working towards your higher truth and your vision of I can? Well, it's possible. It's possible that I can. It's possible, right? Even I'm like, oh, well, I haven't proven it to myself. I keep confirming that I can't. My action of I can't is affirming my negative thought loop that I can't. Okay, but it's possible. Anything is possible, right? I've seen other people do impossible things. I have even done really hard things. It is possible. And that is a more neutral thought. So we're not going to this like pie in the sky, like The Secret. Just focus on positive thinking because that doesn't work. You want to know what the positive thought is. You want to know what that home run thought is. And you want to come to yourself and just change the thought to be true for you so that you're not selling yourself a great big lie. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it not possible? Yes, it's not possible, but it's possible. And that is a more positive, more neutral thought that is working towards the goal of thinking something different. And that is the conscious process of changing your thoughts in action. I knew it was possible. I stayed there. I did not know if I was going to pull through and actually be able to not hit the snooze. Number 5 is aligning the action with the new thought that you aspire to own. And this is where you're going to want to really just buck up and do it anyway, because your brain is going to do what it does when you go to take that new action, and it's going to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't. So the action that I wanted to take was to not hit snooze and was to get up when I said I would get up. Monday failed, Tuesday failed, Wednesday failed, okay? And throughout the failing, here's another key aspect: practicing compassion. Practicing compassion. So is it possible that I can do this tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow's a new day. Going to the blame and the shame of like, see, told you couldn't do it, catching that thought, and it's still possible. I'm not dead yet. 46, got a lot of life yet. I'm going to give it another shot. Every day that I'm not dead is another opportunity to believe in myself, to prove to myself that I can. How do you know you believe in yourself? When your action aligns. And the first time you take the action, you're not going to believe in yourself, okay? And there's magic. That's where the magic is. When you do something for the first time, I'm getting chills, that you haven't been able to do. When you meet yourself where you're at, when you catch the negative thought loop, like I did this morning, the alarm goes off and the brain said, hit snooze, go back to bed. And I just said, nope, not gonna do it today. I even set myself up in a different way for success by plugging my phone in across the room, because I said, you know what, if it's not at my bedside, then when the alarm goes off, I got to walk all the way across the room to shut it off. And then I either hit snooze or I don't. But once I don't hit snooze, like I did this morning, I didn't hit the snooze. And I walked back to my bed, literally was like, I still was in like, are we going to do this? Are we going to go back to sleep? Are we going to stay awake? I mean, I was literally observing the thoughts. But last night, before I went to bed, I set myself up for success, knowing what my intention was, practicing self-compassion with the failures all week and saying, okay, and try something a little different, plug the phone in across the room. And I looked myself in the mirror and I said, come on, Amy, you can do this. I know you can. And I don't care what your brain tells you tomorrow morning. You're gonna not snooze and you're gonna get up no matter what. I know you can do this. That encouraging masculine energy in the mirror, I did it. I even went to bed, didn't scroll last night, the whole thing. Well, didn't hit snooze, sat there, contemplated. The brain tried to make me go back to bed, but I just said, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to see what this feels like. And you know what? I got up, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth. A part of me was a little off center, to be quite honest, because I snooze so often that a part of me felt like, why are we doing all this so early? It's interesting when you start observing what's going on in your head. But let me tell you, I had that win in the end. I had that win in the end. And what that did, that magical action step that I took when I didn't ever do it before, when I didn't believe I could, when I overrode my negativity bias in my brain telling me, go back to bed, go back to bed. It just made me feel like I could do anything. And that's where you grow that belief in yourself, that if I could do it once, I could do this again. Look at how powerful I am. I can actually do something that I set out to do just because I made a promise to myself and I want to keep it. And with that, I'm going to say there's one person that you want on your team. It's you. It's nobody else. It's not your mother. It's not your father. It's not your husband, your wife, your kid. You want you on your team. You and your creator, your maker, which, by the way, you were created in his image. So there is a part of you that is him. There's a part of you that is God, source, energy. Whatever it is that you believe that's bigger than you, there is a highest version of you that is capable of anything. And if you want to adopt a truth, that is truth. Because I've chosen it. I've decided to adopt that truth. Part of believing in yourself is taking those Bible verses that you love. In Christ, I can do anything. He is not, my client brought this one in. He has not created you with a spirit of fear, but a spirit of confidence. Like those Bible verses that inspire you, what if you actually integrated them as truth and believed them and used them to grow that belief in you, to actually see yourself more how God sees you, how others see you? What would that do for your self-belief? The last step, number 6, is reward. After I did the thing I set out to do, proved to my brain that I can, which, by the way, the confirmation bias, okay? Now that I did it, I proved to my brain I can do it. And now my brain can be looking for the proof that I can do it again. So the confirmation bias can work against you, but it can work for you. And that's what we want to get to. That's why you want to align that action with those newer thoughts, because now your brain's going to be seeking the proof that you can do it, because you just proved to yourself that you can. The last part is reward. How did I reward myself? With a high five in the mirror. And I just said, you're the shit. I love you. You showed up. You didn't snooze. For the first time in 46 years of your life, you did it. And I'm so damn proud of you. Like, and that was so true for me in that moment. I couldn't have felt more proud. You would have thought I just ran a marathon. Just really reward yourself. You deserve it. So going back through the process, the 6 steps of number 1, acceptance, shedding the shame you're carrying, what has been done to you, what you do, how you think, what you're believing about yourself does not define you. You are worthy no matter what, with the mistakes, with the negative thinking, with the uncomfortable emotions, with the lack of self-belief. You are worthy whether you know it or not. Acceptance of you for you right where you're at, number 1. Number 2, awareness and mindfulness. It is a practice to shift your belief about yourself. It's not going to just happen by default. You have to become aware and mindful and relate to those negative thoughts differently through number 3, the disidentification process. You are not your negative thoughts. You have negative thoughts. This is not the truth. This is your negative truth in this moment, and it can be shifted. Number 4, make a new choice. Know what it is you want to believe about yourself. And then take a deep breath and pick something right here, right now, with where you're at, that is neutral, that is more positive, affirming, and true than your negative garbage thought, but that is something you can believe now when you don't believe that higher truth that you aspire to own. Action, aligning your action, asking yourself the question, if I did believe in myself, what would I do? If I did believe that I was worthy losing the weight, if I did believe that I could, what would I do? Well, modify my eating. I wouldn't eat late at night. I would exercise a few times a week. Okay. So what would it be like if I did believe in myself? You know what you would do. Now that's what you want to do. You want to just set in motion one action step, because remember, your beliefs, you know they're true, and they start setting in more grounded and more firm when your action is aligned with it. So it takes knowing what you aspire to believe, knowing what you would do if you did believe, and taking the action when you don't believe. You do it anyway. It just takes that 1, 2, several times to do it when it's really tough, when it's really hard, when you don't believe, to create a new way of thinking, believing, doing. And reward. Go ahead and reward yourself with a high five. I love a high five in the mirror because it's celebratory, and think what you will of it. But if you're mocking it, if you're making fun of it, that's resistance, my friend. There's a party that doesn't believe you're worthy of it. So just accepting that, and go ahead and give yourself a high five. How many times have you high-fived other people? What would it take to high five yourself? Give yourself a reward. Something else I want to bring in right now, just 2 things that I really, really love that I practice in my own life that have to do with the body. Number 1 is the high five in the mirror. And Mel Robbins wrote a whole book on this, the high five habit. She goes into the science of it. It's so simple, yet so vulnerable when you do it for the first time. All the thoughts, you're feeling silly, you're feeling weird, you've never done this before. You really come face to face with your resistance, with your shame. That's what happens when you give yourself a high five. I love high fiving because you don't even have to say anything to yourself, or you can, but that your body recognizes that posture of celebration. So you almost can't think a negative thought about yourself when you're high-fiving yourself. The other posture that feels really good and powerful is it's called Wonder Woman stance. And this is it. Just breathe, feel your feet on the ground, put your hands at your hips like this, and just see how you feel in your body. I do this before I do these lives. I do this whenever I go up on stage. I do this in the container with my clients. I just love that. It just makes me feel powerful. How does it make you feel? You are so much stronger, more capable than you will ever know or think. And it is normal to believe a lot of negative things about yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Just know having negative thoughts does not mean you are a terrible person. Failing at something like I did when I failed to not hit snooze does not mean that I am this terrible person. Something that you can do in awareness practice is just back it up. What's the feeling or emotion I can't bear to feel right now? Disappointment. Just allow yourself to be disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with myself. I wanted to do this thing. I didn't do this thing. I've been trying for 40 years. I'm so frustrated. I just think of my client the other day in the container, so frustrated with this late night eating. She can't kick it. I just can't. There's something. Can you let yourself just feel the disappointment and just be in that so that it can move through you and pass and not make it mean that there's something wrong with you. It's okay to feel disappointment. It makes sense. It's disappointing. Feel it, be with it, let it go. Do not hold it and make yourself this shameful bad person because of it, because you're not. You can do anything. You have the power. You can believe in yourself. That's it, my friends. Go and have an amazing, beautiful day and weekend. Bye.